When we are in our core values, we are inviting, encouraging, bringing forth that very thing out of those who we're in conversation with. You really can't like not be real around you. Like you bring forth authenticity and integrity by being authenticity and integrity. When we come into Brava's Corner, I will always do my best to introduce you, but I will probably do it badly. So you always get a chance to reintroduce yourself. So first of all, we're going to talk today, right, about core values, of which you have taught me already so much. I didn't even know like I had to have them. And now I know. And now I also know that this is going to help me with what? TED Talks. So, yes. Sherrita, I'm going to read this bio, and I want everyone to listen up. Sherrita is a multi-potentialite and a developer. She develops stories. She develops people. She develops processes. These are her words because they're so good. She uses this tool of storytelling to help people communicate effectively, and she's manifested this skill set across industries as a playwright, a speaking coach at TED. Hello, cuties. That's platforms. And a professional recruiter across Washington, D.C. Above all, Sherrita, whenever we are in the presence of Sherrita, we are up-leveling community. We are up-leveling because you elevate the conversation. You lead with your why. So we're going to get right the fuck into it. I'm going to pose a question to you, and it's a tough one. We have very limited time. We got 20 minutes with my darling. Was she late? Yeah, I was late. Okay. I was late. Sherrita, here, I'm going to turn it right over to you. I'm going to put you in the hot seat. As we know, I need the platform, right? I need my TED moment. And as proud students of Brené Brown, we know that, yes, she had a message, but it was not until she crystallized it with a show, not tell, talk with vulnerability on vulnerability did she become Lene, right? So we need the breakout moments for everyone in the Brava community. What is your best tangible advice or coaching to give me and all Brava communities around aligning core values so that we can give that TED Talk?
Yeah, so that's a big question. No easy answer. But what I will say is that you need, for TED, you need a very clear idea. It needs to be very clear what your idea is. And one of the things that really resonates with me as a listener, as a lover of TED Talks, is when someone is able to describe what is as well as what could be. So how does your idea, right, work within that space of examining what is, but also projecting out what could be? Because that's the thing that moves the needle for people.
All right, should I give it a go with Providence on Earth?
Yes, okay. Yes.
So what is we are all very reactionary to the events outside ourselves, and we act and believe as if those things are more important than what we feel and sense and can imagine inside. So we actually give so much more priority to worldly events and what the fuck happened over wherever the fuck than what's happening right here. And what could be is we could refocus that energy to begin from within and let, as Gandhi said, be the change and let that start to shift the external world. So that is the what could be of Providence.
Yes, so that's beautiful. And I love that. And then when you talk about sort of it, with every great idea on the TED stage that I've seen, there's some sort of theory of change that comes along with it. That is what takes someone from being a lone lunatic to having their first set of followers and really being a leader of a movement. And so, you know, that's what I would sort of add to sort of what you're building on with your Providence community and with the platform that you have. Just, you know, what is that theory of change?
The theory of change. Okay, that to me, I hear you, but I'm not sure I hear you, right? I don't know if I really know what that means. Do you mean like a strategy? What do you mean by theory of change? Because I'm not that smart.
No, you absolutely are. That is not true at all. But if I'm talking to myself and, you know, a version of myself that would want to give a TED Talk, yes, it would really be about what is going to move your audience to action, and what's tangible in that, and is that replicable? You know what I mean? Can you do that process again and again and still get an amazing result?
So it's like
that's
really
what I mean.
Creating true engagement, which is like the whole goal. Like, come on board. Let's get on board.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. And so where do core values come into play here? Like how would you help me now? Because listen, my darling, I've got a million ideas and most of them are destructive, right? But I want to be navigated. I want a little bit more of a sense of like how I can utilize my energy for the highest and best. So what advice or coaching would you help a lost soul like me as I lead a cult community?
So I'm going to share 2 points. And one is going to be pretty candid. So the thing about TED is that we recognize that everybody has an idea and everybody has lots of ideas. TED and TEDx is about ideas worth spreading. So
Okay.
is your idea actually capable of moving people to an action, helping people think differently about something in their own lives? So that's kind of the internal filter you have to go through when you are looking at whether your idea is ready to be presented on the TED stage, because you don't want to fire that bullet haphazardly.
Oh
The
no, no,
second,
no! She has played that out in her mind many times. Because I'm all about an entrance. But Ted's a little. Let's be real. Ted's a little bit conservative. So for me, for my entrance, I had like, okay, I have the standard latex bodysuit, men carrying me out. But I'm like, how will the Tedsters respond? So she doesn't want to fire the wrong bullet and just be like blasted and then canceled. Like you got to use that platform well. So the readiness is about the strategy, it sounds like. The strategy for actual technical engagement that actually is worth spreading, that
mhm.
moves the needle forward.
But beyond being technical, this is the thing, and this is where I know that even myself, if I were giving a TED talk, I would have to examine this closely, and that is wanting to have your message go viral, wanting to have your message resonate with the masses. If you start there, then it's going to be really hard to do something that's truly authentic and do something that is actually going to be specific enough to really reach who you're trying to reach. And so, what do I mean by that? I mean that when you think about your idea, you have to think about your audience and who is it going to serve? Who really, at the end of the day, is it going to serve? Because it's not going to serve everybody. So once you get clear on who am I speaking to and why am I speaking to them and why do I want to have a connection with them? Why do I think it's important for them to know this? What am I trying to build with them? You're going to have a conversation about how your values align with that. It's a natural part of the process when you start asking yourself those fundamental questions.
Because true alignment, like you said, fundamental, it starts at the bottom. So it's like, if you're not connecting on like what do we believe is true in the world and what matters most, then we're not going to connect on a strategy to get there because we don't.
Absolutely.
So my darling, it really sounds like it is about gaining that sense of alignment in all our communications. And what is a way that you, okay, so I'm going to actually pivot a little bit because we started off the conversation talking about Brene Brown and how that's how she came to her glory. I know you are an avid learner and a student of Brene in all her iterations. What is the difference? Okay, Katie, because there is a difference, but I'm not really sure of it. Between me like doing my skincare routine on an Instagram versus like true useful vulnerability that actually bridges and makes connection. How do we discern our vulnerability?
How do you discern your vulnerability? So
Or are
she
you
has a
really,
very clear definition.
yeah, like defining it for ourselves so that we're not just like spewing on a live stream continuously, because that seems indulgent. But then there's the real vulnerability where it's like letting people in so that we can actually have real human to human connection. How do you make that discernment? And also a little caveat to that question, do you ever find yourself as a TED coach having to help people navigate that very question?
Yeah, and so let me back up because I didn't give any context to the TED stuff. So let me back up and give some context to that and why I describe myself as a multi-potentialite. It's not because I'm trying to be erudite or elitist in any way. It's because I, like so many people, have a number of interests, and I found myself not wanting to be boxed in by one particular thing, but being able to explore all of my potential and all these different facets of things that I love. I love sports. I love the arts. You know what I mean? I love international development. You know what I mean? I love community service. So there's not one thing that I'm passionate about. And so framing it as a multi-potentialite just made sense for me. But the thing with TED is that I got into TED kind of accidentally. I've always loved TED Talks since I was introduced to them in about 2010.
Yeah.
And I happened to be working at an organization where the CEO was working on some thought leadership pieces and thought the TED platform might be a meaningful way to engage with the audience he was trying to reach. So we began doing some research and we applied to a few, and we applied to one that got back to us and said, look, you just missed our deadline, but if you want to volunteer with us, you can. And if you know anything about TEDx, which is a derivative of TED. You know, TED Global is this entity, but they would be, you know, very limited in their reach if they didn't give local communities and local community actors the ability to host their own events with their brand. So TEDx is independently organized TED events that share that brand.
And they can go a little more wild, I think, too. Because they're
they have their own identity.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah.
So if you want to be brought on stage, like carried on stage, like the goddess you are, you absolutely can have that kind of entrance. You know, you just got to plug into the right TED community or create your own. That's the beautiful thing. So I say all that to say that I got involved in the coaching side, and it became so meaningful to me to be a steward and to be a protector and to be a facilitator in helping people bring their ideas to life. And so over the course of, at this point, 5 years now, I worked with over 100 TED speakers or TEDx speakers who have endeavored to give speeches. Those are people who have come through the TEDx Tyson's organization or through special sort of open mic events that we have connected with and helped to cultivate. So throughout that period of time, I've seen so many things, and I have to say there is no secret formula. There's no one way.
No secret formula for anything, Sherrita. I hate
I know.
it. I keep searching, Googling secret formula for money, for love, now for TED.
Number 10. So, but the thing that people get caught up with that I notice really trips them up is wanting to go viral. We don't know the secret sauce for going viral.
No,
just be
honestly,
you on that stage.
I'm trying every day. I am in my sleep. I'm doing self-hypnosis on going viral. I'm attempting to go viral every second, my cuties. So if that is your motivation, I agree. That's a byproduct of just being a fucking star. And if it happens, it happens. But you got to do your work. And I think also just recognizing that if you help one person move their life forward, that is impact beyond our wildest dreams. Like, be fucking
absolutely
right. You never know the ripple effects of what one interaction can have.
That's very true. And you talked about vulnerability, and I want to get back to that question because I feel like even for me, like this is a vulnerable process. On being on Instagram Live, I am not someone who would consider herself, very attracted to social media or social media savvy. I am a millennial. I do have, social media. And I do engage on those different platforms, but it's not regular. Yeah. And I just discussed, ask Talia Brava, anybody can ask her, like, I just got on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, we had to do a tutorial. We did a tutorial the last time, so now you're set.
Yeah, so I'm a total newbie to all this. I'm holding my phone, guys. I don't have the proper setup, but I feel like these conversations are things that I care about, and so I'm willing to take the vulnerable step of engaging, right, even if the technical aspects of it aren't perfect. And I think that's the key. Like the definition of vulnerability is when you feel, and this is from Brene Brown and her research, when you feel emotional exposure, when you feel risk and uncertainty. And we feel that all the time.
What I love about what you just shared is the core of it is, and this is, I think, the secret to any great TED Talk and any great public speaking is there is that sense of those who are speaking for themselves to get something for them. And then there is that sense of speaking for the cause, for the people they're supporting, for the advocacy, for the message. And when we do that, all the shit goes away. The weird hand gestures, the insecurity, because you're not thinking about yourself. You're not self-conscious because you're doing something's coming through you and you have a service to provide.
Absolutely. I think that was well said.
Thank you, darling.
Well said.
Well, I am so grateful to have you. We have 5 minutes left. I do have to do a plug because she has to speak. I have to speak for. It's not for me. It's for the people. But it is truly. So on December 30th, Sherrita, you're back. Oh my gosh. I was just getting to my plug. So you must be there, Sherrita. Please do join us. December 30th, we have Master Builder. It is the next Brava retreat, and we are looking at constructing anew for 2021. We're going to start off with those core values. We have a core values meditation up on the Instagram Live. Sherrita is go hunt her down. If you want to work with someone on really defining your core values, she's an amazing coach and speaker, and a speaker to coaches, a coaching speaker, a speaking coach, talking, speaking. She's got you. Feeling, just honestly, I'm so grateful that you could join us. Is there any last words as you sort of bring to a close this conversation on getting quote unquote Ted ready?
Ted ready is getting you ready. So I think going back to the whole concept of core values, if you haven't taken the time to discern what those are, I think it's a really important exercise. And you can literally Google Brene Brown, Dare to Lead core values, and worksheets will pop up and resources will pop up. And even if it's not through Brene Brown, if you go through other resources or just do a simple Google search on it, you can find more information that can help you go through that exercise. Because I truly believe that we can see one another better when we know one another's values.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
I'll share our values.
Yeah, please. I want to hear. Give us your values.
So going through the learning journey of discovering what those are, for me, they are authenticity and integrity. And I look at those as two separate things because my authenticity is just really in every situation being exactly who I am. And whether that's someone who cares a lot in a situation or actually needs to step back and not put my emotional energy into that situation, that's who I am in that moment. And then when I'm locked into really being who I am, not pretending, not performing, not perfecting, not defending or hiding, then I can actually set my intention toward doing the right thing and be more effective in doing what's right over what feels comfortable.
She just had an aha based on what you just shared, my darling. When we are in our core values, we are inviting, encouraging, bringing forth that very thing out of those who we're in conversation with. I always say this when I'm talking to you, Sherrita, that I really can't not be real around you. You bring forth authenticity and integrity by being authenticity and integrity. My darling, we're going to pull a goddess
Amen.
card. Thank you. We're going to pull a goddess card, okay? As we close. Okay. And knowing that my core values are freedom and love. And I love the interplay between those, right? You're totally free and I totally love you. Everyone go ride off on your motorcycles, whatever direction you like, and wear your freak flags. And I'm going to love you as you do it. Okay. Oh, this is great. This is actually my mom's name, so it's always kind of ooh, what does that mean? Mommy. Bridget, don't back down. Stand up for what you believe is right.
Yes.
How perfect. Okay.
That's us.
That is us. I love you so much. Thank you so much for joining.
Love you too.
And I'll see you all, Baby Community, so very soon. Bye.
Bye.